Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. To start with the name of Allah. My dear students and friends, today we are going to discuss about consumer behavior. It is one of the very important topics in the theory and practice of services marketing. And interestingly, today we are going to talk about consumer behavior in a service context. And this is lecture number 5 and 6 for the services marketing course that is offered at Gift University in spring 2020 semester. Today our lecture spans across three core stages, which are called the service consumption model collectively. The first stage we are going to discuss about is the pre-purchase stage. Then we have service encounter stage and post-encounter stage. Now, if you recall, I just spoke about the consumer behavior in a service context. Before moving to service context, I would like to talk about consumer behavior, its basic definition, and also its importance. Consumer behavior is the study of individuals or groups. That is a very important point to start with. I have highlighted it, underlined it in fact. The individuals or groups. By individuals, I mean that I am going to study the consumer as an individual person, Imtiaz as an individual, Kashif as an individual, Uruj as an individual, Rehab as an individual. So to start with, I'm going to talk about consumers as individual people. Sometimes I'm not interested in individual behaviors and I am interested in a group behavior. For example, I can say member of a family. I can say nuclear family or extended family. So consumer behavior is either the study of individuals or the study of groups. But sometimes it is a study of both. When I'm going to discuss consumer behavior patterns within a household, or let's say if I'm interested, the patterns of consumer behavior, its decision making within a society, within a market segment. So anyway, individuals or groups can be separated and also can be studied together. Consumer behavior is also the study of processes that includes some emotional processes, some cognitive processes, some spiritual processes. In the modern consumer behavior literature, spiritual consumption has also become a very important aspect of consumption. Third element is consumer behavior is a study of consumer selection of a service or a goods. It is about consumption of goods or services and also the dispose of goods as well as services. So it is not merely about selection of products, but it also engages researchers and practitioners as how they select, what are the parameters of selection of a service, what are the mental processes, as I discussed earlier, that are involved in selection of goods or services, as well as the consumption, the point of consumption, the intensity of consumption, and also the disposition of goods as well as services. How do consumers dispose of goods and services? Another point is that consumer behavior is the study for practitioners and researchers as how people, individuals, or groups satisfy their needs and wants. And finally, what impact these processes have on the consumer as well as on society. Let's suppose I consume a religious service, what impact it will leave on the society I am living. On the contrary, if I am using such a product, which is a social taboo, what impact it will leave on the people living in my surroundings. So in a way, you will find that consumer behavior is a study of those mental or psychological, affective, as well as spiritual processes that shape modern society. Moving forward, as I explained before, there are three stages: pre-purchase stage, consumption stage, and also the post-purchase stage. One by one, we are going to discuss about these. Pre-purchase stage. It involves several elements which are important, and we are going to discuss about these elements one by one. For example, customers, they need solutions to the needs which are actually aroused by marketers. You see, need arousal is a phenomena on part of the consumers, as sometimes consumer needs are aroused by some physical elements. For example, you feeling hungry. This is an internal arousal. You are feeling sleepy. You are feeling lazy. This is an internal arousal. You have a need which is aroused due to your thirst. This is need for water. So there are some physiological states which are called the internal processes to trigger needs. Then there are some external processes that can trigger need. Those processes involve when we study consumer needs in a marketing context. For a goods component, those involve product, price, placement, and promotions. While for a services, the other elements of marketing mix are equally important: the people, process, as well as physical evidence. Another element is evaluating a service is very difficult. It is not impossible though, but it is difficult. For example, if you need to purchase a soap, you can look at the soap because it has a tangible element. You can smell the soap, you can have a look at its packaging, its wrapper, and at the same time, you can check the weight, evaluate if this is part of your assessment. You can also look at the color combination that are being used by marketers to convince you as a consumer. But on the contrary, let's suppose if you wanted to attend a training on service attitude among employees in a firm, now how would you evaluate that service? Or for the sake of discussion, let us suppose you wanted to evaluate the service of a psychologist. How would you evaluate? I'm not saying it is impossible, but it is pretty difficult when it comes to evaluation of services. Comparing it to the goods, evaluation of goods is relatively easy, while the evaluation of service is difficult. You see, there are several risks associated with the consumption, selection, and dispose of services. Those risks we will study in the upcoming weeks. But just to talk about those risks involve financial risk, those risks involve some social risk, those risks involve relationship risks associated with the selection and consumption of a service. You see, at one side, if there is an airline where the practice is that they have older planes and the rate of accidents is very high, you are facing the risk of your life. which is a perceived risk which might hinder you to consume the services of that airline. And you will be uncertain because, may Allah forbid, a plane for a very good airline can also crash. A very famous doctor can make a mistake while doing a heart surgery. So, uncertainty about outcomes increases the perceived risk. Understanding customers' expectations is the key to success. Now, for a service business, this is again very confusing because as your customers more and more consume your services, their expectation level increases with the passage of time. And it is very different when it comes to goods. Another element is that components of customer expectations we need to understand. For example, in case of you as a bank, what the customers need. Do they need highly for people in highly formal dress serving the customers, or do they need people with an average dress speaking local language such as Punjabi to deal with the customers, or they are the ones who need people who are very bureaucratic in nature? Contrary to that, they need service employees who are very friendly in nature. You know, sometimes you might say that smile is more important. That is important component for every service and part of expectations. But my friends, it's not important in every service. Again, let's suppose if you are working in a post-mortem unit in a hospital, smiling at customers is not something they expect from you. So the components of customer expectations vary even within a hospital, from one service to the other service. Then this making a service purchase decision is very complex. People have this tendency that they will attribute their failure to the service providers. They might not listen to you as a service provider. They might attribute everything bad that has happened to them towards a service provider. That is one reason that services are complex businesses. Alongside, there are so many other reasons. And because the perceived risks that we discussed earlier, uncertainty is very high. You're not sure that what is the probability that next surgery will be a success, next flight will be a successful takeoff and landing. You can never know. So the purchase decision is very complex. It's not very easy to understand. Now let us discuss this pre-purchase process of consumers in a service context. As stated earlier, need arousal is sometimes a physical, a very natural phenomena, while sometimes it is triggered by the marketers, as we discussed. Information search, people can have two sources. One is internal source, which is your past experience, which is your personal experience with a service provider. Let's suppose you traveled through Thai Airways, or you traveled through Devu service, bus service in Pakistan, or you traveled through Kareem taxi service already. So you have some idea, some information about that. You have this traveling experience. Then there are external sources of information search, company website, billboards, and all other marketing stuff, which provides customers with several rounds of information is part of the information search. Moving forward, we have evaluation of alternates. That's again very important aspect in services. Now, customers are not evaluating alternates. Actually, they are preparing themselves as how much risk they can take. What is their bargain? What is their trade-off? What they can leave aside and what they need. Sometimes they might be interested in cost-efficient businesses and services. but sometimes they don't take risks. Surgery is just one example, airline is just another example. No one would like to take the risk of the life. So from information search, consumer makes up his or her mind, then they evaluate some alternates, which is sometimes you become part of a service and then you start evaluation. While in terms of purchase of a goods, you can already evaluate before purchase. Let's suppose I wanted to buy furniture. I can move from one shop to the other shop to the next shop to the other shops. And I can evaluate in terms of shape, in terms of overall look, in terms of the quality, durability, price, color combinations, comfort, and so many other variables. So I can evaluate the furniture on that stance. But for a haircut, to evaluate as a service, I need to be part of that. Before that, I cannot evaluate the service. If you recall, previous weeks, we were talking about some credence qualities and search qualities and consumption qualities. There are few services which you cannot evaluate unless until you become part of it. Next stage is service expectations. Now, based on some evaluations, customers have a set of standards and expectations which they bring with them when they are entering your service location, either online or offline. Let's suppose now I am a bank. Now, customers have some pre-service expectation levels once they are entering into a bank. I am a zoo. I'm a zoo service provider, although I'm into entertainment business. Let's say my job is to provide them with entertainment, or I'm a cinema, again in the entertainment business. Now, customers have some pre-consumption expectations with them. That are their standards that I need to critically understand in order to provide them the best possible solutions, because the customers, they're not into looking into the money they spend. Yes, it is important to them, but more important to them is overall service experience. And this purchase decision is not the purchase, actually, it is the a psychological move that yes, I'm going to consume service A or consume service B from another firm C, from another firm D. So let us now conclude this framework. To start with, needs can be physical, or needs can be aroused by some marketing stimuli. This is first stage. Second stage is information search, which can again based on your prior experience as well as triggered by the information provided by the marketeers. We'll have a discussion of some examples in the coming slides. Then of course this evaluation of alternates, that consumers, they have this tendency that they'll evaluate the available alternates, the choices available to them on some criteria, which can be an industry-wide criteria. Then service expectations, which means the customers, they are coming up with some standards which they want to meet in order to have this positive associations towards a brand. And finally, this purchase decision is the mental readiness that yes, I'm ready to consume Mizan Bank service, or I'm ready to consume Devu bus service as a business, or I'm ready to travel with PIA. This is their purchase decision. This is their tendency. This is their intentions to do for the future. So this is what we call the pre-purchase process of consumers. Now there are a few examples. You see, family-oriented stimuli in societies such as Pakistan is very important. So from a dear husband's level, from a more male-oriented side, because we are a masculine society, our gender roles are very clear. Women are supposed to play a different role once compared to men. Likewise, men behave in a very different manner comparable to women. And in the household, Either it is an educated or uneducated, most of the decisions are made by men. Although time is changing with the new services coming up and view with the view that education is rapidly spreading in societies such as Pakistan, and a lot of separate family systems exist. A lot of people are moving to urban areas, but still the dominant culture is masculine in nature, where gender roles are fixed, and male have this inborn authority, I would say. Although you can disagree, it's a debate, but this is based on my thought that males are still making a lot of choices. When it comes to insurance as a choice, males are there to make decisions. Now, from a male's perspective, look what this ad says. I will read for you. She is your comfortable, she is your comfort. Make her comfortable. Secure her future with Jubilee's retirement plans. Making the right decision today can help you secure a bright future tomorrow for you and your wife. So, from a husband's perspective, they are trying to convince that because wife is doing all the good stuff for you within the household, taking care of you, washing your cloth, if not at least ironing your cloth, if not at least managing the arrangement of cloth, or at least suggesting you which cloth you should wear, and at the minimum level at least suggesting to you that do that and do not do that. Okay, so because she is making your life comfortable, your role is to make her life comfortable. This is quite, they have shown, reciprocal in nature. So need or arousal is through marketer based stimuli. Another example, Fantastic Father Squad, the same brand, similar celebrity, same celebrity, and now they are trying to talk about your role as a father. Previously, this example was your role as a husband, no, your role as a father. And the similar stimuli is there. If you love your kids, how come as a father you don't love your kids' future? So this is where they are trying to encourage a Pakistani male, although educated, doing some white collar jobs, living in urban Pakistan, but at the same time, there is a need to motivate and trigger them that yes, try to secure your future, because Pakistan as a society, insurance is such a product which is controversial. Some believe that it is not religious. Some believe, yes, it is okay to purchase a insurance policy for your family, for your kids, etc. It's how you secure your life. But there is a huge market segment. I don't know if you will agree that they believe in, they are like Allah Tawakkal type of people. They have this strong faith and belief that it's not them who is taking care of the kids. It's Allah Almighty who will do that. Allah is the best creator, and Allah is Palanhar. Allah is the one who will do all the good for us in coming years of life. So, despite the fact, as I said earlier, that people are moving to cities, people have this tendency that they're educated, doing white collar jobs, spending a lot of time with family, trying their best to provide all they can to their kids and to their wife, but still we need to trigger them. So this is one another case study in Pakistan. Now, as we spoke about the information search, the consumer's prior experience, this open kitchen tour was a success by McDonald's. The tagline in Urdu reads as, "We have told which you wanted to know. So please come, visit us, suggest us," and things like that. No, if you have visited the kitchen once, it is part of your nostalgia for future. So you can easily recall, oh yes, I visited McDonald's. They have fantastic staff over there, hygienic kitchen environment, and things like that. So it will be part of your information search. So at this stage, when you are trying to identify some alternates, McDonald's came up with this idea that they will provide you a lot of information, lot of stuff which can actually minimize the perception of risk, health in this case in particular, because some might argue that McDonald's is very expensive. So they can justify that, okay, look at our kitchen management, look at the way we manage it, look at the hygiene conditions, look at the employees who are working over there, how sophisticated, how intelligently we manage our kitchen, how hygienic it is. So this is part of consumers information search, that consumers sometimes, in order to evaluate the articles, they need bulk of information. So this is not only, they did not only try to convince people through advertisements or through personal selling direct marketing efforts, but at the same time they said that, okay, you only come to us for a dinner or a lunch, please visit our kitchen as well. And I have this personal experience also to work with them as a research consultant. But at the same time, I visited with my family, and my family was quite impressed. And I have heard a lot of stories of people who went with their families. They were quite convinced, and they appreciated the way the kitchen was managed. Just another example when it comes to evaluation of alternates, because again it is a matter of risk. So you wanted to minimize the consumer's risk. Parkwheels.com, this car inspection service, it will trigger the sales, because when you say that it is inspected by an authorized mechanic from parkwheels.com, the probability to sell a car will increase. And finally, this is to induce purchase, sometimes at the last moment. Qatar Airways as an example, A350 is a good example in this case, that once you share this information, once you share with them this amazing experience, in-flight experience, you are able to not only raise to their expectations, but at the same time you are inducing them that, okay, visit us. Now the service encounter stage, and it is very interesting stage where moments of truth are established. And we are going to talk about these moments of truth, a very interesting concept coming ahead. As we discussed, there are few features of pre-purchase stage. There are few features of service encounter stage as well. For example, service encounters can be of two types. These are high to low contact services. We are going to discuss about it in coming slides with examples. Now there is theater as a metaphor for service delivery. The theater involves, as a concept, involves service facilities, your layout, equipment that you use, tools that you use, furniture that you have, aroma overall, lighting arrangements, seating arrangements, temperature, music. All these things are part of your service facilities. Also includes, if you say that you have this home delivery service, is part of service facilities. You say you can order online, this is part of service facilities. Touch screen available to make orders. You may have visited McDonald's as a fast food recently. They have no touch screens installed in almost all the branches that they run in countries such as Pakistan. So this is a fantastic service experience for the customers, that they are not talking about it, rather it is touch and order. Then personal, the people, how well dressed they are, how well behaved they are they smiling at you, are they willing to help, are they near you, are they coming to you or you are calling them. So this is how this theater concept operates. Finally, role and script theories. What is your role and what are you supposed to do? And what is the role of employees and what they are supposed to do? Now let us talk about service encounter first, before we talk about the types of encounters. It is a period of time, okay, which a customer interacts directly with the service provider. Now you can have an online encounter, which we call the virtual encounter. online teaching these days, or you can have a face-to-face encounter, which can happen in banks, which can happen in shopping malls, which can happen in telecom, hospitality these days, hospitals, etc. These are physical encounters. Now the concept of moments of truth. Moments of truth, by definition, is a point where service provider and the service customer confront one another. This can be a website also. This can be a social media platform. This can be a physical place. Now what happens? You see service company, they comes up with some promises. They say, okay, we will provide you this type of food, we'll offer you this type of overall experience for your kids. We have these type of facilities, education facilities, entertainment facilities, and likewise. So when you actually go there, do you find all these? Your expectations, are these met? Those are the moments of truth. So you need to find out up to what extent it is truth. It is also the skill, motivation, and the tools employed by the firm's representative and the expectations and behavior of the client, which together will create the service delivery process. There are some roles which you need to play as a customer, while there are some roles which frontline staff needs to play. And I would like to highlight here that the customers, they are not looking at the frontline staff only. Sometimes they are also observing the backline staff, how a backline staff is behaving or confronting with the frontline staff will also brighten the chance of customer satisfaction. So this is moment of truth, the interaction. No, as I said earlier, there are two types of services, high contact and low contact. In a high contact service, such as hospital, customers visit service facility and remain there, okay? Active contact with the service personnel or technology or both, and includes most people processing services where by large people are delivering services and people are receiving services. Low contact is little or no physical contact. It can be online. Contact usually at arm's length through electronic or physical distribution channels. Okay, this is by, again, as I said, online. As an example, this internet banking is just another example. Facilitated by new technologies can be ATM as an example. Now please have a kind look at it. Service encounter, which is a combination of two, high contact as well as low contact services. Please have a look and I will try to explain it. You see at one side, there is internet banking, internet-based services, cable TV. These are low contact services because with the service personnel, you rarely contact when it comes to internet banking. But in case of nursing, four-star hotel, restaurant, haircut, by large extent, you go and interact with people. So you see, it's very easy to understand. Two types of services, high contact, where you and the frontline staff in a low contact service rarely interact, while you as a customer and frontline staff always interact in a high contact service. And marketing of both these type of services vary. Now, what are its implications? How to improve that? You need to provide customers with a realistic service preview. What is their role? What they are supposed to do? How much time they are supposed to wait? What type of dress they are supposed to wear? I remember um, one of my medical examination experience abroad when I was teaching abroad. I was explained by the support staff that this will be stage 1, then stage 2, then stage 3, then stage 4. First, I have to sign a document, then I have to submit the fee, then I have to meet a psychologist, then I have to meet a medical consultant, then I have to obtain the medical results. So this is your job actually. And I remember I was very comfortable because it was part of the visa requirement. When I was given a review, I was very comfortable next time when I visited them because I knew my role, what I'm supposed to do. And yes, there is a greater need for provision of information. I need to help my customers to perform well. And for that, the suggestion is that customers should be given realistic service preview. Now comes this post-encounter stage. And there the concepts such as customer satisfaction and customer delight are very, very important. You see, there are several outcomes of a service experience. Sometimes the customers will be satisfied, which means that you are meeting their expectations. But sometimes they will be delighted, which means that you are exceeding their expectations. And there will be some times when you are not meeting even their expectations. This is what you call a dissatisfied service experience. The outcomes of all these three service satisfaction levels will vary. For example, when customers feel delighted, they will be your advocates. They will be talking very positively and in a favorable manner to their reference group members. And there will be a stage when they will be the evangelist. They will defend you in front of others. So for a service to prosper in a highly competitive industry, we need to take customers to a level that they defend us as a brand. Whenever a brand is in a crisis, previously it is said that the job of a brand manager or a PR expert is to bring the brand out of the crisis. But in a contemporary marketing science, it is now believed that it is not only the job of a marketer, but also he or she needs to engage the customers, that they need to play a positive role in order to manage the crisis for brand. As I discussed, the three levels: the positive disconfirmation, which means that service is better than expected. Confirmation, it is just so, it is as you expected. And negative, it is worse than what you expected. And then, as I explained already, the delight level. Delight is a function of unexpectedly high levels of performance. Sometimes it is the arousal of elements such as surprise and excitement. You may have seen people watching a traditional game such as Kabaddi in countries such as Pakistan. Or you may have seen people in a border ceremony at Wagah border in Lahore. You will see that this situational arousal takes them to a level that sometimes they think beyond what they actually expected and what the service environment is. Another example of arousal is the drum beating. You may have seen people going to their unconscious. Finally, this positive effect, which means that some positive emotion is aroused, either it is pleasure, pride, joy, or happiness. Now, there are a few examples. Booking.com, now they are extending their view towards business and they say they are an accommodation site. Another example is when you say that you are such a service provider, an airline service provider with a low probability of a crash. It means that you are reducing the customer's perceived risk. HBL as an example, which talks about a favorite bank because their digital banking is best among the available options. Moments of truth, this Thai airline as an example, that their service staff is customer oriented and dealing you in the best possible manner, the way you want. I had personal experience of traveling through business class several times with Thai Airlines. They had this amazing hospitality attitude towards the staff. Also, one reason is that I was traveling through business class, but at the same time, because I traveled through economy class as well, just to share my experience with you, that they were equally good in that. Now let us summarize what we have discussed today. There are three stages: pre-purchase, service encounter, and post-encounter stage that make up consumer behavior in services. Then there are few steps that we need to keep in mind to start with: need arousal, information search, evaluation of alternates, and purchase decision to include the expectations of services. Then service encounter stage is the management of emotions and behaviors. It is a moments of truth. All the promises that you made, are actually customers convinced about it? Are they playing the customers or the staff, they are playing their role? Post encounter stage, what is the outcome? Is it like a positive emotion is aroused? Is it like an element of surprise and excitement is there? Or the service is at the minimum level? What is your level? I hope this lecture will be useful to you. In case of any questions, you can definitely post to me and I would be ready to assist. Take care of your parents. Allah is one. Worship Allah, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the last messenger of Allah. Take care. Bye. I'll speak to you soon, inshallah.